We open with a large silhouette of Stormvale Castle. We don't see anything on the inside, apart from the dozens, almost hundreds of guards on the castle walls alone. We do hear sounds, however, coming from within. Disgusting sounds. Sounds of flesh being torn apart, stripped away, used. Finnick's body is taken away in the river in which he fell after the disastrous fight against Margit. All his companions are dead. He has arrows sticking from his body. He's broken as someone can be. His body eventually arrives at a small bank near the river, where we hear something approaching him. It's soon revealed to be a horse, and from that horse comes a mysterious figure. A lady, it seems, completely hooded, covered in a brown cloak. Yet she drops down beside Finnick's body and touches him with her hands. She leaves, but her touch clearly meant something. And soon, we see how Finnick's body starts to faintly glow yellow, or is it orange, or gold? The next thing we know is Finnick again dreaming of the golden color. He's surrounded by this massive cloud of it, and sees the strange same symbols from his previous dream. The symbols all disappear and change into this massive, larger than life tree in front of him. The man wakes up abruptly, sweating and breathing hard. He's in a shack somewhere by a fire. Finnick has no idea what happened or where he is, but that's not what worries him the most. The odd thing is, he's completely fine. No arrows in his body, no wounds, no pain, nothing. He just feels a bit weak, but that's all. He's joined by a strange-looking man arriving with his donkey, it seems. He's introduced as Calais, a merchant traveling through these lands. He found Finnick by the bank of a river, almost dead looking, but he was sure he'd lived since he had no wounds and was still breathing. Finnick is extremely confused. He wasn't alone, he was with fellow fighters, they were on a mission. What? Who? Where? Why did he bring him here? Callie is clearly confused as well by why Finnick is so disoriented, wondering what could have happened to him. But he soon figures it out. He went to Stormvale Castle, didn't he? Finnick doesn't respond and is offered a warm soup, which he eats alongside the merchant. It's a surprisingly quiet and restful moment, and after some silence, the merchant figures out who he might be. Is he a tarnished? Finnick looks up. Why that word? What is that name? Calais again also looks confused. He doesn't know who his own kind are? Finnick only has more and more questions, but eventually Calais states that he's but a simple merchant, he doesn't know all the answers. But he then looks at the massive golden tree behind them, the one in the distance, always there. He asks if he knows what that is. Finnick does, but also doesn't. Keeps on seeing it in his dreams, as if it's calling to him. Calais chuckles. That thing is the Earth Tree. Everything, and he does mean everything, is under its dominion. It has given life to countless of people and creatures throughout these lands, as it has also done to them. It's their gods, their guidance. Tarnished should know. Finnick stares at the huge tree for a long time, and his thoughts are dwelling endlessly. The next morning, he and the merchant part ways on the crossroads somewhere in Limgrave. He thanks the man for the help. Calais simply states that if he would ever need anything, he and many of his colleagues are spread throughout the lands. They're traveling from here to there. Tarnished are always welcome to his kind. A final thing he does give is a simple straight sword. He can't have a tarnished travel without a weapon. Finnick accepts it gladly. The man then proceeds on foot as he keeps on pondering on his mission, but most of all, the death of his companions and the monster that took them. Margit. Once he sees the dooming figure of Stormveil in the distance, Finnick tries to find his way back to the shack of Faerie. While en route, he passes through large fields. It's very peaceful once again as he looks at all the birds, the deer, sheep, and rabbits just hopping around. But then he also spots something else in the distance. A massive golden knight riding on this massive armored horse, at least 3 times the size of Finnick. A giant, it seems. Finnick has a faint feeling that he remembers who that is, but isn't sure. He's not sure about any of his feelings right now. He simply watches as a giant knight patrols around, but then it also seems to notice Finnick in the distance. Finnick stays still, not trying to provoke anything. But out of nowhere, the giant knight raises his huge lance and charges at Finnick with full speed. Soon the man is running for his life again, as he runs to a ruined church of sorts, hoping it would be safe for him. But the giant knight simply crashes through it, tearing the whole place down. Finnick knows he has no chance and just runs, dodges and ducks as well as he can. He eventually just runs for the trees in the distance after being able to lose the rider for a second. It's a hectic moment as a Tarnished yells while feeling the massive rider right behind him, but just manages to jump into the trees, safe from the knight. The rider on his horse stops and simply patrols back, continuing his duty. Finnick is out of breath. Why is everything in this land trying to kill him? He finds his way back to Varys' shack while the White Mask is preparing something. Upon seeing Finnick, he's gobsmacked. He's alive? How? Finnick is surprised by that statement. What does that mean? Did he know what was going to happen? Faerie again claims he's but a guide, but none of his previous guests have ever made it out of Stormveil alive. This enrages Finnick as he soon grabs Faerie by his throat and threatens him. What else did he keep from him? His companions are all dead. Dead! He was almost dead too. What is going on here? Faerie begs for mercy and tries to calm him down. He will tell him everything, he promises. It takes some convincing, but Finnick soon lets him go. That evening, the two sit on the porch as they watch the large earth tree in the distance. Faerie again states how he's a guide, but to everyone who carries the same blood as Finnick and his companions, the Tarnished. He's but a mere player in this whole ordeal, given a task to do. What task might that be? Well, to see who's worthy, who's capable, who's promising. Finnick has had enough of these riddles and mysteries. Capable of what? Capable of surviving these lands? Because it seems like everything is trying to kill him. Just mere hours ago he was attacked by a giant knight on a horse. Faerie chuckles. That would be one of the Tree Sentinels, an ancient league of soldiers as old as the Earth Tree itself. They're gifted and cursed, at the same time, by fulfilling a single task forever. To guard their gods and kill whoever opposes it. Finnick claims he doesn't oppose anything, he doesn't even properly know what mission he's on. He just knows that he needs to head north and find something, or things. He keeps on seeing these symbols, that tree, that woman voice. Faerie chuckles and claims it's all quite normal and he'll understand everything soon enough. He passed his first test after all, surviving the defense of Stormveil Castle. Finnick ends by asking what his second test will be then. Faerie's answer is simple. Survive it again. Properly. That night, Finnick is sleeping as he again has the same dream, but now throughout this dream he suddenly remembers something of when he was lying there on the riverbank. This hooded girl. He can't remember her face, but there was something she did. Something mysterious, something that brought him back. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and he can hear Very somewhere behind the shack again singing a deep hymn in some ancient language, presumably about the same thing from nights before. But as Finnick looks around in the dark woods, he can faintly see something in the distance. Something glowing. It's the exact same girl on the horse. Finnick stares for a long time until he starts to run towards her. He remembers her, what she did. Did she bring him back to life? He runs and runs until she's completely disappeared. Finnick is all alone in the woods now and feels like going crazy. It's only when he hears the howling of a wolf in the distance that he decides to head back to the shack. He goes back to sleep as he can hear the wolf's howl continuing in the distance. It's kind of eerie. Fairy then suddenly speaks to him, appearing out of nowhere, saying that he should stay out of the woods when he hears that. That howl is nothing but malice. Finnick stays silent and just drifts back to sleep. The next day, Finnick is out hunting. He eventually manages to kill a deer with some bow and arrow. And on his way back, he spots someone in the distance. Someone looking like a mage. He remembers Autumn, but it couldn't be her. He does find it intriguing, so he decides to follow her while staying out of sight. The mage is running around, doing some tracking, and soon stumbles upon a small camp of soldiers. The same soldiers from Stormville Castle. Finnick stays well out of sight, but soon sees how the mage uses some magic and manages to kill every single one of them. After this, she proceeds to head down a cave where the camp was set up. Finnick is surprised to see how she could easily defeat them. He now just follows her and heads into the cave. It's eerie, reminding him of a dungeon from several days earlier. He looks around, trying to find her, but then suddenly hears some fighting in the distance. It sounds like a hectic fight. Finnick instantly draws his sword and runs forward, trying to help the mage. But then he enters a whole area deep inside the cave where several wolves are roaming. Big ones. Several of them lie dead from the mage's attack, it seems. But the biggest wolf, the alpha, already has the girl in its mouth. Dead. Finnick is disturbed at the sight as he slowly backs away. He manages to leave the cave but feels sad. What if she could have told him more? Was she also like him? A tarnished? Finnick, saddened, heads to Very with his hunt, only to find him with another tarnished, a young barbarian it seems. Very smiles at Finnick, claiming he has found another one like him. Finnick again is surprised. The young barbarian, called Atlas, is clearly as naive and unknowing as Finnick was just mere days earlier. Very attempts to have the same talk with the young man as he did with Finnick's companions, about how he should head to the castle to find out more, but Finnick is disturbed by this and intervenes, telling Atlas he should stay with them for a while. He succeeds in this, as Atlas soon helps by skinning the deer Finnick had killed. Very does take Finnick separately and mentions quietly how he has a part to play in this story. He shouldn't intervene like that. Finnick counters, stating the man could die if he's sent to Stormville Castle. Very is clear. If that's the case, then he wouldn't be of use to Finnick in the future. It's clear how Very isn't necessarily an evil man with bad intentions. It's just that his part is to filter out strength from weakness. The next day, Finnick and Atlas are scouting through the woods as Finnick asks Atlas how he arrived here. Atlas gives the exact same story. He arrived in a boat on the shore, had to fight through some sort of dungeon, and then arrived here in Limgrave. He wasn't alone though, he was with a girl, a mage, but she left him as soon as they exited the dungeon. Finnick now knows who that mage was, but decides to stay silent about it. Atlas is excited to head to the castle though, wondering what's there, but Finnick tries to steady him. That castle is evil and is guarded immensely. He knows, he's seen it up close. There's no way you're getting in there alone or even with some help. Atlas keeps on being naive. Maybe they should just need to find more help. That does give Finnick an idea. Yes. Why not do that? Maybe if they would gather enough warriors, maybe they have a chance. Maybe he'd even have a chance to stand in front of Margit again and have his revenge. Later, Finnick is by a river to drink a bit while Atlas is not too far ahead. It's now that Finnick hears something again behind him. The man is taking no chances in this dangerous place and now instantly draws out his sword, only to stand face to face with the hooded lady who saved him, her horse standing behind her. Finnick is silent and lowers his blade. He asks who she is, and that's when the mysterious girl lowers her hood, revealing a beautiful yet partially scarred face, as if it was burnt. She welcomes him, tarnished, and says she wants to offer an accord.